We are going to call the meeting to order as soon as we're live. Are we live?
We are live.
Okay, great. So calling the March 25th, 2021 meeting to order. Roll call, please, Ms. Gresser.
Senator Poole.
Present.
Okay. Senator Puglia. I'm sorry.
Present.
Senator Timberlake.
Present.
Senator Daughtry.
Present.
Senator Vitelli.
Present.
Representative Stefkas.
Here.
Representative Dillingham is absent. Representative Talbot Ross.
Sorry, present.
Representative Dunphy.
Present.
Mr. President
Present.
and Mr. Speaker.
Present.
Mr. Speaker, you have a quorum.
Thank you, Ms. Gresser. First item on the agenda appears on page 1 of our packet. Summary of the February 25th, 2021 meeting of the Legislative Council requires a motion. Motion for acceptance of the minutes.
So moved.
Moved by Senator Daughtry. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Representative Dunphy. Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, Ms. Gresser, could you please call the roll?
Certainly. Senator Pouliot,
Yes.
Senator Timberlake,
Yes.
Senator Daughtry,
Yes.
Senator Vitelli,
Yes.
Representative Stefkas,
That was a yes, Senator.
yes.
Yeah.
Representative Talbot Ross,
Yes.
Representative Dunphy,
Yes.
Mr. President,
Yes.
and Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
It's unanimous.
Unanimous of those present. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is reports from Executive Director and Staff Office Directors. This appears on page 9 of our packet. Fiscal report from Mr. Nolan. Is Mr. Nolan?
Mr. Nolan is here.
I am here.
Oh, there he is.
Oh, he's just knocking at my door again. Good afternoon, everybody. Mr. Speaker, Mr. President, members of the council. The fiscal briefing is at page 9 of your report. And it is, for general fund is a good news that we are 134.8 million for February over budget. That is 92.7%. That was so large that we thought we needed to explain feedback. We need to explain the cause of it in the first paragraph and not wait till the second paragraph. That huge variance for February is, am I producing the feedback or?
Yeah, Ms. Gresser, are you able to mute all the participants on the call?
Okay, am I still good?
Are your offices near each other, perhaps, by chance? You and Ms. Gresser, are you sharing an office?
No, she's
Okay.
on the
Far
fourth
away.
floor. Okay. Sorry. Anyhow, the positive variance for February was a result largely of almost $97 million that we had budgeted for refunds, money going out the door for income tax payers, not going out the door because of the delay in the filing date. So we had budgeted that negative and didn't make those payments. So it resulted in a positive variance of what we took in. But we are still over now for the fiscal year to date by 287 million, and some of that adjustment for refunds will be net out of March, current month. So we would expect to pay a lot more out in refunds in March than we had assumed. So we're anticipating March would be, all of the things being equal, down a bit because of refunds, but could very well be still positive given the underlying economic activity. So just to kind of go through this, individual tax refunds were down for the month, and withholding revenue was above budget by 16.2 million for February, and is above budget by 32.2 million for the fiscal year to date. Estimated payments were only slightly over budget for February, but cumulatively were just about 64 million above budget for the fiscal year to date. So the income tax revenue picture is remaining pretty strong. Corporate income tax revenue was below budget slightly for the month, but is over budget by 23.4 million for the fiscal year to date. That positive variance for the fiscal year to date is largely the result of estimated corporate payments, which are 23.7 million over budget fiscal year to date. Sales and use tax revenue, which in February reflect January sales, are also quite positive and quite strong, over budget by 24.1 million for the month, and 57.4 million for the fiscal year to date, 5.5%. If you read through the DAF's monthly report, which you should have gotten last week, is the continuation of the restaurant and lodging industry, obviously not keeping up with that overall growth rate, but the rest of the sectors are pretty positive, and that monthly DAS report is leaning towards hopes that but even those two sectors will do well in the coming months. So that will be something that we will consider, that the Economic Forecasting Commission will consider when it meets next week, and then the Revenue Forecasting Committee at the end of next month. So that is general fund. Should I pause for questions at this point before I move on to highway fund and cash balances?
Any questions from council regarding the general fund revenue update for Mr. Nolan? Not seeing any questions, Mr. Nolan.
Sorry, I go through it pretty quickly. I know you have a lot on your agenda. So highway fund revenue was over budget by 0.7 million, 2.9% for February, and is over budget by 2.1 million, or just under 1% for the fiscal year to date. Fuel taxes are under budget by 1.1 million for the month and 1.7 million for the date, but those are offset by motor vehicle registrations, the other big part of revenue for the highway fund. Those registrations and fees were over budget by 1.7 million for the month and 3.5 million for the fiscal year to date. So then on cash balance update, the average balance in the cash pool for February was about 2.9 billion, an increase from January's average of 2.63 billion. While the average balance from the coronavirus relief fund, the money that we got last year, continued to decrease from 404 million down to 322.7 million as that cash goes out the door. The overall increase in the cash pool is a result of the positive balance in the general fund, as a result of the general fund revenue activity that we had just talked about earlier, and as well as the new federal emergency rental assistance money that we got in the Consolidated Appropriations Act on December 27th. There is no money in the cash pool yet from the American Rescue Act or ARP 21. I think they had in these numbers, I don't know if there's anything, I don't think there's anything yet. They had 60 days to disperse that money, and I don't think we've actually received any of that money yet. The average highway fund balance in February was 59.1 million, an increase from January's average of 45.2 million. So the highway fund balance is picking up a bit. As I said, the Economic Forecasting Commission is meeting March 30th, which is next Tuesday. Something else. Oh, never mind. I remembered something else was happening March 30th. Sorry. And they will do their update of their forecasts, and then the Revenue Forecasting Committee has not scheduled its meeting for the end of April to do its May report. And certainly the delay, and we did face it last year with the delay in the tax filing date, but this year the delay in the tax filing date to mid-May, we certainly won't have the benefit of the April filing, but we'll do what we can based on the information we do have. And if there's a significant change in May, we'll have to consider that at some point. But that is all I have. I can certainly answer any questions if anybody has them.
Any questions for Mr. Nolan? Mr. Nolan, the 60 days that you mentioned regarding the American Rescue Plan funds, does that clock start based on when the legislation was passed by the Congress, or is there some date that they start that clock in terms of when it is dispersed to states?
I've just heard that. I haven't gone back and checked the actual federal statute. I've heard that reference in various briefings, NCSL, NALFO, and others. And I know that we're waiting for, obviously, the direct money from Treasury that is waiting on decisions made by Treasury. And I don't know if that is what's the 60-day clock. There's all the other more programmatic based money, which may have different. So I have thought about that, whether it's something that's waiting for Treasury to start the clock, or I was assuming it was the passage of the signature or signing of the legislation, but I'll check into that to see what the actual timing is.
And was there specific guidance regarding when Treasury would have guidance around use of those funds to states?
Regarding its piece of it, the roughly $1 billion that we were going to get from the Treasury pool to the state, that's what I think that one's going to be explained. I don't know if they're going to get into all the other programmatic parts from the other federal agencies, but I'll look into that to see who's telling us what, when, and when we might see the flow of money start. So,
great, thank you. Any other questions from council? Seeing none. Thank you, Mr. Nolan. Appreciate it.
welcome.
Next item on the agenda is reports from council committees. There are no reports. Next item on the agenda is old business. This begins on page 10. Item number 1 is council actions taken by ballot. No action required on this item for information purposes only. Any comments or questions about this item? Seeing none. Next item is new business. This begins on page 12 of our packet. Item number 1, consideration of after deadline bills.
I think Mr. Charbonneau is here, the reviser.
Thanks for being here, Mr.
I
Charbonneau.
am.
Really appreciate it. Looks like the first item is LR 2033, an act to eliminate the 100 megawatt limit on, I believe it's hydro. I think there's maybe a typo. Hydroelectric generators under the Renewable Resources Law. And it's presented by Representative Hanley. Is Representative Hanley present? I'm not seeing
Don't see him.
Representative Dillingham or Representative Steckes. Do you want to explain this one?
I'll look to Representative Steckes to see if he's aware of the summary on the bill. that he could present. If not, I would move to table.
Representative Stekus?
I believe the title says exactly what the bill is to remove the cap that was put in place by the legislature. I think it was almost close to 20 years ago now.
Okay. Any discussion? Or is there a motion, I guess?
I would move it in.
Okay. Motion to move it in by Representative Dillingham. Second, is there a second?
I second it.
Seconded by Senator Timberlake. Any discussion? Seeing no discussion. Ms. Gretzer, please call the roll.
Senator Pouliot,
Yes.
Senator Timberlake,
Yes.
Senator Daughtry,
Yes.
Senator Vitelli,
No.
Representative Stetkes,
Yes.
Representative Dillingham,
Yes.
Representative Talbot Ross,
No.
Representative Dunphy.
No.
Mr. President,
No.
Mr. Speaker,
Yes.
Mr. Speaker. It's 6 voting in the affirmative, 4 in the negative. The bill is admitted.
Next item is LR 2026, an act regarding the qualifications for licensure as a physician or surgeon, presented by Tavis Hassenfuss. Is Representative Hassenfuss with us?
Yes, I'm here. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, we can.
Thank you very much for taking this up, Mr. Speaker, Mr. President, and the honorable members of the Legislative Council. This issue was brought to me by, it just so happens to be a former classmate and teammate of mine in high school who is my age and he is still in school. He's just wrapping up his dual degree as an MD and an oral and maxillofacial surgeon. So essentially, he went to dental school, got his degree from dental school after graduating as the valedictorian at UMaine. Then he went on to Pittsburgh for a 6-year dual degree that licenses him both in oral surgery and in medicine. So he can practice at a hospital, oral surgeon's office, what have you. He then went to apply for licensure as both an MD and oral surgeon in Maine, and he was denied his MD license essentially because his residency, though it was a 3-year residency, two of those 3 years were after he received his MD diploma, when the statute requires 3 of those years to be after he receives his diploma. Now, there's a number of programs across the country that do this, and they all issue their MD diploma at different times in the coursework. And unfortunately for Dr. Cooper, his was issued with only 2 years left of residency instead of 3 years left, which, for instance, Harvard does. So for that reason, he's not able to obtain his licensure in Maine. And it would really be too bad if he wasn't able to come back and work in this state, because he's a great community member. He grew up here. His whole family, extended family, still lives here. And I think this is just, it happened to be an oversight when this statute was created that couldn't possibly have predicted what every single program across the country does. And the request is to amend the statute to comply with Pittsburgh's degree requirements. And I think it's important to note that his training is identical to that of any other school, whether it be Harvard or any school across the country that does this. He sought my help out after he reached the Maine Medical Association, and they worked through it and said that, I think the best thing to do would be to amend the statute. So there's some draft language proposing the amendment of it. And the Maine Medical Association, from my understanding, is on board with this. And there's actually an oral surgeon, MD, who fits exactly the licensure that Dr. Cooper is after, who was instrumental in putting the legislation forward in the first place, who's willing to help tweak that language and get it into a place where we can allow Dr. Cooper and one of his other fellow classmates to come back and be licensed in Maine if he so chooses. Because he can practice in 49 other states, but not Maine, his home state, and the one that he wants to be in.
Thank you, Representative. President Jackson.
Move it in.
President Jackson moves it in. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Representative Dunphy. Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, Ms. Gresser, please call the roll.
Senator Pouliot,
Yes.
Senator Timberlake,
Yes.
Senator Daughtry,
Yes.
Senator Vitelli,
Yes.
Representative Stefkas,
Yes.
Representative Dillingham,
Yes.
Representative Talbot Ross,
Yes.
Representative Dunphy,
Yes.
Mr. President,
Yes.
and Mr. Speaker.
Yes,
Mr. Speaker, it's unanimous.
unanimous. Thank you. Next item is LR 2016, an act to end the separation of patients and residents of nursing and healthcare facilities from family members during the COVID-19 pandemic. Representative Sherm Hutchins is the sponsor. Representative Hutchins.
I don't see Representative Hutchins here.
Okay.
I would
Representative
move to
Dillingham?
table.
Motion to table. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Representative Dillingham. No discussion on a tabling motion. All those in favor? Ms. Gresser, please call the roll. I wish there was a more expedient way.
I know. Senator Pouliot,
Yes.
Senator Timberlake,
Yes.
Senator Daughtry. Yes. Senator Daughtry,
You can hear me over the dog barking, but I vote yes.
that's okay. Senator Vitelli,
Yes.
Representative Stefkas,
Yes.
Representative Dillingham,
Yes.
Representative Talbot Ross,
Yes.
Representative Dunphy,
Yes.
Mr. President,
Yes.
and Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
It's unanimous.
Thank you. Next item is LR 2035, an act to amend legislative expense reimbursement and allowances, sponsored by Senator Dave Mirmont. Senator Mirmont.
Hello. Thank you. Let me just move to the paperwork. Do you want me to read the whole thing?
If you just give us a brief explanation as to why this bill is after deadline.
Great. I thought this was being taken care of. Okay, so good afternoon. Representative Fecto, President Jackson, members of the Legislative Committee. I'm Senator Dave Mirmont from Senate District 12, which is Knox County. This bill was put in because the committee or commission from last year figured out that reimbursement was way out of whack with what the average costs were for both mileage and hotels in the area, and they came up with a mechanism to fix it. All of it was going through, and then we adjourned. So it's another casualty of adjourning early. So I thought it was being brought back by that group that had done the work. When I realized it wasn't, I brought it to you. That's all.
Thank you, Senator Mirmont. Any questions from council for Senator Mirmont? Seeing none, is there a motion?
And move it in.
Representative Dillingham moves it in. Is there a second? seconded by Representative Talbot Ross. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Ms. Gresser, please call the roll.
Senator Pouliot,
Yes.
Senator Timberlake,
Yes.
Senator Daughtry,
Yes.
Senator Vitelli,
No.
Representative Stetkis,
Yes.
Representative Dillingham,
Yes.
Representative Talbot Ross,
No.
Representative Dunphy,
Yes.
Mr. President,
Yes.
Mr. Speaker.
No.
Mr. Speaker, it's 7 votes in the affirmative, 3 in the negative. The motion passes.
Motion prevails. Thank you. Thanks, Senator
Thank
Mearmont, for
you.
being here. Appreciate it.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Next item is LR 2015, an act to protect the insurable interest of homeowners with adjoining property. Representative Joe Perry. I don't believe he could be with us this afternoon. Representative Dunphy, I understand he provided you with an explanation.
He did, thank you. What this bill is doing is if adjacent properties share a wall and one side does not keep up on their homeowner's insurance, it notifies the other side and would give them the opportunity to either purchase the homeowner insurance, like so in the event something that, you know, the house burnt down, that their part or they would be covered. So it basically would give the adjacent homeowner similar rights to a bank where they could rectify the lack of homeowners insurance on the other side.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Representative Dunphy regarding the bill? Seeing none, is there a motion?
Move it.
Representative Talbot Ross moves it in. Is there a second? Seconded by Senate President Jackson. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Ms. Gresser, please call the roll.
Senator Pouliot,
Yes.
Senator Timberlake,
Yes.
Senator Daughtry,
Yes.
Senator Vitelli,
Yes.
Representative Stetkis,
Yes.
Representative Dillingham,
Yes.
Representative Talbot Ross,
Yes.
Representative Dunphy,
Yes.
Mr. President,
Yes.
and Mr. Speaker.
Yes,
Mr. Speaker, it's unanimous.
unanimous. The bill is in. Next item is LR 2024, an act to enhance behavioral health services to better protect Maine residents, sponsored by Senator Jeff Timberlake. Senator Timberlake.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And President Jackson, this bill I had put in back on 3/4. I thought it was coming out on a ballot. Somehow it got messed up. This was put in. I've been working with Commissioner Sawchuk. If any of you remembered, about a couple weeks before this, I had 2 good friends murdered in Turner, and it happened because of this, because of our behavioral health situation. And we've been working with the Sheriff's Department, the state police, and commissioners, and we're looking for a solution in the future. So hopefully we can protect some other Maine resident from this situation. These people were 2 very good friends of mine, and I'm still heartbroken over it, and I'm doing this for my community and my family. And so if you'd please put this in, I'd appreciate it.
Thank you, Senator Timberlake. Are there any questions for the sponsor?
And move it in.
Senator Vitelli moves it in. Is there a second? Seconded by President Jackson. Any further discussion? Seeing none. Ms. Gresser, please call the roll.
Senator Pouliot,
Yes.
Senator Timberlake,
Yes.
Senator Daughtry,
Yes.
Senator Vitelli,
Yes.
Representative Stetkis,
Yes.
Representative Dillingham,
Yes.
Representative Talbot Ross,
Yes.
Representative Dunphy,
Yes.
Mr. President,
Yes.
and Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, it's unanimous.
Thank you. Unanimous. The bill is in. Next item is LR 2027, an act to allow the use of polyvinyl chloride pipe in construction of sprinkler systems in certain commercial rental units, sponsored by Representative Joseph Underwood. Representative Underwood, I saw he's here. Yes. Take it away.
Mr. Speaker and President and other members of the committee, good afternoon. I became aware of this problem, the situation, and I'd like to submit a bill for it in January of 2021 from the city of Presque Isle regarding sprinkler systems and the construction of. And basically, it's a late bill because I became aware of the problem after the deadline. If your committee can allow it, I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Underwood. Are there any questions from the council for the sponsor? Not seeing any. Any discussion or a motion from council?
I'll move it in.
Representative Dillingham moves it in. Is there a second? Second by Representative Steckes. Any further discussion? Representative Underwood, it sounds like this is a specific project that's happening in Presque Isle that this law has prevented from moving forward. Is that right?
That is correct. And it can also be used statewide if necessary.
Okay. President Jackson.
Yeah, I've been made aware by some fire departments and other industry people that this could be very dangerous for construction. So I'll be voting against it.
Any further discussion?
Mr. Speaker,
Senator Pouliot.
I was just curious if Senator Jackson had any info as to why it would make things more dangerous.
Electrical parts. What I've been told is that the piping can melt and not go to the intended areas as far as for the sprinkler system. And something also about electrical is problematic, but the fact that it's plastic piping and get a chance to melt in areas so that it doesn't do its intended job as a sprinkler.
Okay. We're still in discussion, Mr. Speaker.
Yeah, Senator Pouliot.
Okay. I think that's a very valid concern. But I guess where I'm at in terms of just letting this go forward would be to avail of a public hearing where those issues could be discussed, and then the committee could weigh the pros and cons and make a decision. So that's for that reason I'd vote to go ahead with it. But that's not a support of the bill, just to going ahead.
Representative Steckes and then Representative Dillingham.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So as somebody that's in the contracting industry, there are certainly places that plastic or composite piping is not acceptable. The president is 100% correct when it comes to that. This particular project and others, I'm not specifically aware of this project, but there are appropriate places for this type of material to be used. And I think if we allow it through and have a public hearing on it, have the firefighters and those folks that have issues with it come and testify, let the general population testify, I think we could find out a whole lot more about this and make a better decision.
Representative Dillingham.
Thank you. I think I just wanted to follow up on what Senator Pouliot basically said. My support of all of these bills moving forward doesn't necessarily mean it's the support of the piece of legislation. I support the process of allowing it to move forward and to go through its public hearing and allowing the sponsor to present to the committee and have the public weigh in, as well as the committee of jurisdiction can certainly do its due diligence on any bill that's moving forward. So thank you.
You, Representative Dillingham. Any further Questions, comments? Seeing none. Ms. Gresser, please call the roll.
Senator Pouliot,
Yes.
Senator Timberlake,
Yes.
Senator Daughtry,
Sorry there, my mute button wasn't working. No.
Senator Vitelli,
No.
Representative Stetkis,
Yes.
Representative Dillingham,
Yes.
Representative Talbot Ross,
No.
Representative Dunphy.
Yes.
Mr. President,
No.
Mr. Speaker,
No.
So it's 5-5, so the bill does not get in.
Bill does not prevail. Thank you. Next item is a bill that was a joint resolution that was tabled by Legislative Council at the January 28th, 2021 meeting, LR 500, joint resolution memorializing the United States Congress to urge the Congress to adopt the Keep 9 Amendment. I think we tabled it at that meeting because Representative Folkingham was not present. I don't see him here currently. Representative Dillingham, thank you.
Certainly, I have been trying to reach him to see if he was going to be available. Again, with this one, I think that the title expresses what the joint resolution is about. So I would say that we probably could move forward and vote on this if the rest of the committee is in agreement.
The Keep 9 is a reference to, I plead ignorance.
I believe it's the Supreme Court.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion on this item? Representative Dillingham.
Would it be possible for the reviser just to read the summary around it? So I think that would certainly make sure that the way I'm interpreting it, that it's correct.
Yeah. Ed, do you want to? Thanks.
Yes, yeah, Rep. Dillingham is correct. It has a reference to the Supreme Court of the United States, keeping it at 9 justices.
Okay. Thank you for that. Any further discussion? Is there a motion?
I move it in.
Motion by Representative Dillingham to move it in, seconded by Representative Stetkis. Any further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, I will have Ms. Gresser call the roll.
Senator Pouliot,
Yes.
Senator Timberlake,
Yes.
Senator Daughtry,
No.
Senator Vitelli,
No.
Representative Stetkis,
Yes.
Representative Dillingham,
Yes.
Representative Talbot Ross,
No.
Representative Dunphy.
No.
Mr. President,
No.
Mr. Speaker,
No.
Mr. Speaker, 4 in the affirmative, 6 in the negative. The motion does not pass.
Next item is, this is an addendum to the items that appeared on the first version of the Legislative Council agenda. It starts on page 14 and starts with LR number 2036, resolve to place a temporary moratorium on the approval of any new motor vehicle registration plates and initiate a registration plate working group. I believe this is sponsored by the Secretary of State's office. And I don't know, is there someone from the Secretary of State's office present to explain it? Oh, yes. Mr. Ashcroft, I was wondering, I had wondered perhaps why you were here, but now it makes sense.
I'm sure you weren't the only one that nobody recognized my face. Thank you, Speaker Fecteau, President Jackson, members of the Legislative Council. I appreciate the opportunity to speak here today to give you some background on this initiative, the after deadline bill proposal by the Secretary of State's office. I will be as concise and succinct as I'm able to be. So this is coming to you at this time because this particular issue has been a concern of the bureaus for a number of years now. It was the intent that we would have put this in the 129th second session. We didn't do that because of some concerns about, if approved, how long it might take to complete a study and to thoroughly look into the issue. And then it would have come into the 130th. And as we all know, it would have had to have been a separate bill at that point. So in the spring of last year, we had intended to talk to Senator Diamond with regard to this and kind of get his guidance on how to go forward. COVID hit, as we all know, and we've been living that life for the last year. And we're now into another legislative session. So we have had that conversation with the chairs and leads of the Transportation Committee about our concern with plates in general. So during that discussion, they suggested that we come forward with this proposed legislation. So that's why we're here today. That's why it never got into our bill this time, because we didn't get a chance before cloture to have that discussion with the chairs, which we wanted to have before this sort of proposal. So if you'll permit me, I'll kind of give you an overview, a 35,000 foot view of what we're talking about here. Maine right now has 63 separate and distinct registration plates. Soon to be 64 if the passage of the lighthouse plate goes through. We have 11 specialty plates, soon to be 12. The lighthouse plate would be a specialty plate. And those particular plates are used for fundraising. So our concerns are that as we increase with no perceived ceiling for registration plates, our municipal offices are being overburdened with a place to store these. So during this process by which our municipalities register vehicles, they do 80% of all of our 1.5 million registrations in the state of Maine. So as you know, because I'm sure you've all been in these town offices, you know, they're small. Some of them only have 2 employees. We require that plates and other inventory be locked up, that there be a security system, so on and so forth. So storage is becoming an issue. They've reached out to us for a number of years now, wondering if there would be some sort of initiative to cap plates and what that would look like. We have training issues when we have more plates to choose from, who's eligible for them, those sorts of issues. We have, procurement issues. So if we go forward with the present business model of registration plate, if they can't be stored in the town office, they would be stored here at the Bureau of Motor Vehicles. So you as a citizen going in and you want to register your vehicle and presumably walk away with a registration plate, you know, we would have procurement issues at that point in time. It would be in those plates. So that, along with the at our state prison who makes our license plate, registration plates, you know, they are also a very small facility. They have to store large rolls of aluminum to make plates, large rolls of sheeting to make plates. And it's a very, very manual process. It is literally a hydraulic press from the 40s and 50s that they make a set of plates. They put the steel numbers and letters onto the plate, and the big hydraulic press comes down and embosses those plates. So you can see where that would be a very time-consuming process. And the more plates we have, the harder it gets, because they can't just do a loon plate and then all of a sudden do 5 lobster plates and then, you know, 3 sportsman's plates. They do them by the thousands in a batch, and then they set them aside because they have to retool to do that. So the more plates we have, the more times they have to retool, and the more storage is being used.
Mr. Ashcroft, I think that's a very helpful explanation. And
Okay.
provides an overview of the bill. I really appreciate that. Any questions for Mr. Ashcroft? Representative Dillingham, thank you.
Thank you. So it's just a question I'm not sure if you can answer. Well, actually, I have two. One, has there been a working group on plates before? I thought in the past 20 years, I thought I remember something like that happening before. Are you aware?
It's my understanding, I'm not aware of the specific working group. I know there was a moratorium years ago placed for a period of time. I'm not sure what it was. And I think what was born out of that was Section 468 and 468A of Title 29A, and that's the specialty plate provision. So it's my understanding that there was so many plate requests every legislative session that they wanted to define a process to kind of screen those out, if you will.
And if I could have a follow-up, Mr. Speaker, just so the working group, do you know if have you had any discussions? Are you going to also talk about some of the language that's used on so not necessarily these types of plates, but the plates that people can get for their personal plates? And
right.
I know that has a name, but
it's the vanity plates.
There we go, vanity plates.
So there's 3 bills currently in process.
Okay.
Not been scheduled. They've been printed, all addressing vanity plate issues. That
Thank
would
you very much.
Part of this group.
Thank you.
And we're looking for a strategic plan is what we're looking for.
Any further questions? Seeing none, is there a motion?
Move it in.
Motion to move in by Representative Dillingham. Is there a second? Seconded by Representative Dunphy. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Ms. Gresser, please call the roll.
Senator Pouliot,
Yes.
Senator Timberlake,
Yes.
Senator Daughtry,
Yes.
Senator Vitelli,
Yes.
Representative Stetkis,
Yes.
Representative Dillingham,
Yes.
Representative Talbot Ross,
Yes.
Representative Dunphy,
Yes.
President Jackson,
Yes.
Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, it's unanimous.
Thank you. Next item is LR 2041, an act to assist local fire departments by amending requirements for self-contained breathing apparatus, sponsored by Representative Bruce Bickford. Is Representative Bickford here? Representative Dillingham.
I move we table. Representative Bickford had a doctor's appointment. Had a doctor's appointment, and I'm not sure if that was the issue.
Motion to table by Representative Dillingham, seconded by Senator Pouliot.
Yeah.
Okay. No discussion on the tabling motion. Ms. Gresser, please call the roll.
Senator Pouliot,
Yes.
Senator Timberlake,
Yes.
Senator Daughtry,
Clarification, this is just a table, correct?
table. Mhm.
Yes, thank you.
Senator Vitelli,
Yes.
Representative Stetkis,
Yes.
Representative Dillingham,
Yes.
Representative Talbot Ross,
Yes.
Representative Dunphy,
Yes.
Mr. President,
Yes.
and Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
It's unanimous, Mr. Speaker.
Motion to table is unanimous. Next item is LR 2038, an act to make the shared living program accessible for more Maine people under the Maine Care Program, sponsored by Senator Nate Libby. I don't think I see Senator Libby on the screen. Senator Vitelli, did you have an explanation?
Senator Daughtry, I think, can speak to this. Thank you.
Senator Daughtry.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I just wanted to share what Senator Libby had sent us just to pass it on to the Ledge Council. He did say that it was an after deadline bill as a result of a constituent with disabilities who's been experiencing some difficulty with a state program involving home modifications. The problem wasn't brought to his attention until mid-January, so hoping to be able to have this bill to be able to make some progress on this for his constituent and see what we can do to help them out. So he would appreciate our support.
Thank you, Senator Daughtry. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, is there a motion?
Make a motion to move the bill in.
Motion by Representative Dunphy to move it in, seconded by Representative Talbot Ross. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Ms. Gresser, please call the roll.
Senator Pouliot,
Yes.
Senator Timberlake,
Yes.
Senator Daughtry,
Yes.
Senator Vitelli,
Yes.
Representative Stetkis,
Yes.
Representative Dillingham,
Yes.
Representative Talbot Ross,
Yes.
Representative Dunphy.
Yes.
Mr. President
yes,
and Mr. Speaker,
Yes.
it is unanimous.
LR 2038 is in. Next item is LR 2040, an act to support Maine Theater, sponsored by Senator Louis Lucchini. Senator Lucchini, take it away.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you, Mr. Speaker, Mr. President. So this after deadline bill was a bill, it's an issue that was raised to me earlier this week, actually. And it was raised by one entity in particular, the State Theater. But I think it seems like a fairly simple amendment that would benefit licensed auditoriums and theaters across the state that have to operate in this COVID situation. So this proposal would allow them to, all auditorium licensees, to expand outdoors and still be able to sell the food and drinks allowable underneath their auditorium liquor licenses. So this would add them to the eligible entities for off-premises liquor license. So obviously the business models for theaters relies on a lot more than ticket sales. It often is, it needs food and drink sales in order to be profitable. And so with capacity limits and everything else, moving outside is a good option for them, especially as we move into the spring and summer season. So this would add them to the list of licensed establishments that be able to get that off-premise license as well. Currently, it's restaurants, bars, hotels, bed and breakfasts. This would just add auditoriums to that. And I guess just specifically, the State Theater has traditionally operated shows on Thompson Point in Portland. And they used to use a license held by Port City Music Hall, which sadly had to close their doors because of the pandemic. So giving the State Theater this ability, they'll be able to continue doing their shows outside this summer for visitors and tourists and everything else. So happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Thank you, Senator Lucchini. Are there any questions for Senator Lucchini? Seeing none, is there a motion?
So moved.
Senator Daughtry moves it in. Is there a second? Seconded by Representative Dunphy. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Ms. Gresser, please call the roll.
Senator Pouliot,
Yes.
Senator Timberlake,
Yes.
Senator Daughtry,
Yes.
Senator Vitelli,
Yes.
Representative Stetkis,
Yes.
Representative Dillingham,
Yes.
Representative Talbot Ross,
Yes.
Representative Dunphy.
Yes.
Mr. President
yes,
and Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, it's unanimous.
Unanimous for
Thank
LR
you.
204. Thank you, Senator Lucchini. I think that concludes the items. Senator Daughtry.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I was wondering if now would be the moment to ask if we could reconsider our actions on one vote.
Yes. What's the item?
Having voted on the prevailing side on the motion regarding LR 2033, I was wondering if we could move to reconsider our actions.
Senator Daughtry's moved to reconsider LR 2033, whereby the bill was moved in. Having voted on the prevailing side, is there a second? Seconded by Senate President Jackson. All those in, Ms. Gresser, could you please call the roll?
Yes. Senator Pouliot,
No.
Senator Timberlake,
No.
Senator Daughtry,
Yes.
Senator Vitelli,
Yes.
Representative Stetkis,
No.
Representative Dillingham,
No.
Representative Talbot Ross,
Yes.
Representative Dunphy,
Yes.
Mr. President,
Yes. Yes.
and Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
6 members having voted in the affirmative, the motion to reconsider prevails.
Okay. And Senator Daughtry, did you have a motion?
I wanted to reconsider actions on this, having voted the opposite way I intended to do, so I appreciate the opportunity. So I think my motion would be to not move this in at this time.
It might be easier to have the motion be in, and then you can make the vote clear, since that's the usual motion. So I will recognize Representative Senator Timberlake. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would ask, under these conditions, that we table this motion until Representative Hanley can be here and speak to it on his own.
Second.
Yeah.
Motion by Senator Timberlake to table, seconded by Senator Pouliot. Ms. Gresser, please call the roll.
Certainly. Senator Pouliot,
Yes.
Senator Timberlake,
Yes.
Senator Daughtry,
Yes.
Senator Vitelli,
Yes.
Representative Stetkis,
Yes.
Representative Dillingham,
Yes.
Representative Talbot Ross,
Yes.
Representative Dunphy,
Yes.
Mr. President,
Yes.
Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
It's unanimous to table.
Motion to table prevails. Thank you. I think that concludes the items under item number 1. Is that correct, Ms. Gresser?
That is correct.
Okay, thank you. Item number 2 starts on page 15 of our packet, adoption of the Legislative Council policy on legislative studies for the 130th legislature. Ms. Gresser, did you want to walk us
Certainly.
through this?
Sure. So under the joint rules, in each biennium, the Legislative Council adopts policies governing legislative studies. And the proposed policy that you'll find on page 15 is identical to the policy that was in place in the 129th, which was identical to the one that was in place in the 128th, and I think in the 127th. I'm happy to review the proposed policy, answer any questions, whatever you would like. So the joint rule is Joint Rule 353, and it's that really long joint rule that has a lot of information about how studies are done or need to be set up. And in addition to the joint rule, the Legislative Council has a policy going even further.
Are there any questions for Ms. Gresser regarding the policy before us? So this outlines things like, under section 4, for example, when, in some cases, some studies accept private funds when they didn't secure enough funding through the legislative study line item in the budget, just providing additional, basically, parameters around uses of funds and so forth.
Exactly. And one of the most interesting things in the council policy is that although the joint rule makes it sound as if we have a resolve directing a department or agency to conduct a study, under the joint rule, it would look as if that legislative members could not be part of it. But as an exception to that joint rule, if there's legislation that directs an agency to look at something, it is possible under the council policy to have up to 2 legislators be members. So things like that. So it sort of is something that the drafters and the committees think of in tandem. You look at the Joint Rule 353 and you also look at the council policy.
And those things come up when we vote on studies at the end of the legislative session.
Exactly. When you take up the study table, which is authorized in Joint Rule 353.
Okay. Thank you for the explanation. Are there any further questions or comments? Seeing none, this does require decision, so I will ask Ms. Gresser to call the roll. Well, actually, I suppose I should first seek a motion to accept the proposed policy as outlined beginning on page 15. So moved by Senator Jackson, President Jackson, seconded by Representative Talbot Ross. Any further discussion, questions? Seeing none. Ms. Gresser, please call the roll.
Senator Pouliot,
Yes.
Senator Timberlake,
Yes.
Senator Daughtry,
Yes.
Senator Vitelli,
Yes.
Representative Stetkis,
Yes.
Representative Dillingham,
Yes.
Representative Talbot Ross,
Yes.
Representative Dunphy,
Yes.
Mr. President,
Yes.
and Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, it's unanimous.
Motion to accept the policy is unanimous, and that concludes items under new business and final item on the agenda, announcements and remarks. Senator Vitelli.
I think perhaps Senator Timberlake had his hand up before I did.
That's very kind. Senator Timberlake, do you want to go first?
Doesn't make any difference to me. Senator Vitelli, please go first.
Thank you, sir. And thank you, Mr. Chair. I would like to take this opportunity to request that Ms. Little, our HR director, review the legislature's harassment prevention policy and our mandatory training in light of the recent incident in the Tax Policy Committee, in which a member displayed an offensive and disturbing backdrop. For those who might not yet be aware, this backdrop made light of the many offenses committed by convicted and infamous sex offender, Harvey Weinstein. It is extremely concerning to me that despite our policies and hard work that's gone into developing trainings for members of the legislature, that a member of our branch clearly does not understand and appreciate the message his background sends to fellow legislators, the hardworking staff who support our work, and the members of the public. That this incident occurred during Women's History Month and on Equal Pay Day only makes it that much more painful. It is my understanding that this matter has been referred to the HR office for review and determination of whether it violates existing policy. If it is not determined that this incident was a clear violation of existing policy, then I would request this body, with the assistance of Ms. Little, work to revise the policy and perhaps the training to ensure it is clear. Finally, I would like to clearly state for those watching today, for the 1 in 6 women who have been raped in their lifetime, the more than 1 in 3 who have or will experience sexual violence, that I condemn the message and the inadequate response by the representative from Auburn. The Zoom background was not funny, whether in a private setting or a public setting, and was not and is not acceptable. Staff, fellow lawmakers, and members of the public need to feel safe and respected when interacting with legislators, whether it's in person at the State House, in a member's district, or virtually. I hope all my colleagues on the Legislative Council will join me in denouncing these actions. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Senator Vitelli. Representative Dillingham.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'll just make a statement that now I know that Ledge Council can be used for such platforms to try to basically publicly shame a member when we are going through the proper channels that do exist, and with something that is referenced to HR, and we have already laid out a policy as how that is supposed to be addressed. And we're going through that policy, as Mr. Speaker knows, we have had that discussion. So I'm disappointed in Senator Vitelli's attempt at what she was doing in the fashion that she did that here today. As far as with the individual, as I spoke with the speaker, I don't have any excuses, nor will I make any for them. The individual has made a statement, and I think that everyone is aware of what he has been going through health-wise. I don't know if that has an impact. Shouldn't matter, but I think that we should have let this played out through the process that we have set out to handle situations like this. So I'm disappointed that this has been presented this way. And any further conversations that need to be had will be had with the HR director. We've already talked today, said we would touch base again if needed, and the same thing with the Speaker of the House. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Dillingham. Senator Timberlake.
This is not what I was going to speak about first, but I think there is channels that this goes through, and they haven't had a chance to work through those channels yet. And I think this process, this is not the committee today to bring this up. I think it needs to go through the HR department and the process that's laid before us in the past for other things. And I would think at this point in time, we would let the process work and see what happens. And then we come back and address it if we find it necessary at that time. At this point in time, I don't think this is the proper time or the place to address it, because I don't know a darn thing about it. And I just think it needs to be taken care of through HR and through the proper channels. And if you don't like the outcome, then Senator Vitelli, then we can address it at that point in time.
Mr. Speaker.
Yeah, the one thing I would add is, based on what I heard from Senator Vitelli, one thing that might be worth consideration is the harassment policy, or the harassment training, rather, that all legislators are required to do. I would wonder, Ms. Gresser, I know Ms. Little is not here in the meeting today, so perhaps this can be a communication at a later point, but just making sure that the training moving forward is tailored to also include the ways that we are operating currently online. I mean, it's a different format, so I think being thoughtful about not just when we're in the building and how we conduct ourselves, but also in this online platform, making sure that the content of that training includes points about how to make sure we conduct ourselves in this online format appropriately as well. That's the only thing I would add. I saw Senator Pouliot. Did you still want to speak?
Yeah, I just think in general, like one of the challenges that we're all facing right now, and this is separate from this particular issue, but just in general, is, utilizing Zoom platform and so forth. I mean, like in the legislature, if one of us has to go to the bathroom, we just get up and leave the committee meeting. Now we have to log out of the Zoom meeting, go do that, and come back. It's like so clunky. Another reason why I just wish we would do what 34 other states are doing and go back to working in person. You know what I mean? So I've said it every time. I'd be remiss if I didn't say it this time. It's not within my power to do that. We had a number of members of this call today who said recently on the call that they want us to be back in person. You guys have the power to do that. And I just really wish that we would. I think it would just alleviate a lot of the challenges that we're having. And frankly, I've been in the legislature for 9 years. I've never been so discouraged as a legislator to see how partisan things have become. And I think that us not being around each other as people is causing that to be even further exacerbated.
Sorry, Representative Dillingham and then President Jackson.
Thank you. I just wanted to follow up and say, Mr. Speaker, if it had been presented exactly the way that you presented that this is something that we need to take a look at and put in our policy without the rest of the speech that went around it and what I felt basically was trying to publicly shame a member. I certainly would not have any objection. I certainly believe that, yes, this is something we need to address in that policy. And as I said, the member also realizes that it was not appropriate and in poor taste. Thank you.
President Jackson.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to say that I think this forum has been used twice previously to talk about committee issues. This was certainly a committee issue that happened, and regardless of how things are or discouragement, the way the legislature goes, I don't think that what happened is ever going to be appropriate in any setting. And so I'm certainly looking forward to the HR process, but I certainly don't think it's out of the Legislative Council's purview to bring up an issue, especially whenever things much less about the committee process have already been talked about here. What happened or what I saw happen, not once, but twice, is never going to be appropriate. And so if people are offended, well, that's unfortunate. I think there's a lot of people across the United States that are offended by what that means to them.
Senator Daughtry and then Representative Dunphy.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I just want to highlight and state again that Senator Vitelli was definitely showing and highlighting the need that, yes, proper channels are being pursued, but this is an instance that shows that we need to adapt our harassment training. And it shows the need to be having these conversations and further. And, you know, this is something that I think we have to remind ourselves in this moment. We are the leaders of this state. And there are people all over, some potentially watching right now. And I guarantee you there are some young women who are waiting to see how we respond to this. Senator Vitelli did read, you know, the statistics of people who have gone through this. But the actions of Harvey Weinstein speak to a larger part and hit a particular nerve. Joking about sexual violence or someone who is a convicted serial rapist has no place in any space. And so, you know, I join with Senator Vitelli, echo her comments. I'm really glad that the proper channels are being pursued. But it's also about a chance of having this conversation so that people are watching recognize that we can't take any tolerance for this type of action, and also that we're moving to pursue education, that we're making sure that people have the resources that they need to learn from this, and so it never happens again. But I do want to echo that this is a big moment for a lot of people who work in this building. As a young woman who was first elected when I was 25, you know, there is a certain, you know, need for people to stand up to comments about this because we're working for the people's house. We're making, you know, pieces of legislation that work for everyone, and everyone needs to feel welcome to be able to come with any issue, whether it's like any of the after deadline bills we considered, or maybe a student who's coming to tour the State House for the first time. If they see those type of signals or microaggressions or something that think it's okay to joke about violence against women, it sets a tone that people aren't welcome or respected. So I join with Senator Vitelli, and I think this is an important conversation.
Representative Dunphy.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would also like to agree with Senator Vitelli and with Senator Daughtry. I feel what I'd like to add to that is we are professionals. We are representatives of the Maine people. We are state representatives and senators. And I think there is a minimum expectation of decorum in this setting. And I think the people of Maine expect and demand better than what we've seen. And I think this speaks to a very low minimum of decorum. So I would like to echo and support both of their statements and add that. And, you know, I'd also add to Senator Pouliot that nobody wants to be back in the State House, in the legislature more than me. I will tell you that. But out of safety and health concerns for myself and my family and anything that we could bring back to our communities, you know, it's, the remote world is not perfect, but it's what we have right now. And I think we're doing a really good job with that, with what we have during a pandemic. So thank you for the time.
Representative Talbot Ross.
Thank you. I just want to add my voice and support to Senator Vitelli for bringing this issue to this body. A lot of times it takes a lot of courage to speak up when offensive behavior has been displayed. It can shut us down or it can move us forward. So I want to thank you for your leadership, Senator Vitelli, in bringing this up, and to Senator Daughtry and Representative Dunphy. I want to echo your comments. I think it is appropriate to call for an examination of our sexual harassment policy. So that is a good method of moving forward. But I also think that we should be careful not to paint this as just an offense to women. This should be offensive to all men as well. And so there are men and women that are harmed, that have been harmed by Harvey Weinstein's actions and all that ensued thereafter. So we need to make sure that we're thinking about this in terms of the safety and protection and health of all the men and women that we work with, that come into the State House, that are watching today. We need to take the right actions and we must speak up. And so I thank you very much, Senator Vitelli, for doing so.
Any further announcements or remarks? Representative Dillingham.
So we've heard a lot about what actions we need to take. And Mr. Speaker, you know that with speaking with your HR director, what actions that the House took. So I'm interested then in this situation when a member has put something on their Zoom background that others have found offensive, what is the action that is expected other than what the member did? Does that need to be a further conversation then? Because I'm not sure what's being asked here for an action to be taken. Other than making the statement that no, it should not have happened and that it's offensive, I'm looking for what else needs to be done and what's the expectation of the members of this council.
Mr. Speaker, real quick.
Yeah, Senator Pouliot.
I just need Ms. Gresser to let me into the meeting on my mobile device because I have to. Thanks.
Sorry.
No problem.
Senator Timberlake.
I'm got my hand raised for the other topic that I had before I let Senator Vitelli go before me.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
would have been done by now.
Senator Vitelli, did you have your hand raised in response to Representative Dillingham? No. Are there any further discussion on that previous topic?
I think it's time to let Senator Timberlake have his moment.
Okay, Senator Timberlake.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I hope I don't create quite as much controversy, but maybe. I was going to make a motion today, actually, that it was time to open the State House back up to the public, but instead I'm just going to talk about where I think we are and where I think we should be headed in the very near future for our next meeting. My comments today are that I hope this committee looks at, so the next time we meet, we have a policy to let the public back into their building. As of tomorrow, the governor has opened up tasting rooms, bars, and we can even go to the buffet now. And I don't need to step up to a buffet if you see how I've put on the COVID 29 pounds, I think, all by myself. But it's time that the State House figures out how to work. The rest of the state of Maine has figured out how to work under these guidelines. The rest of the businesses have figured out how to work under these guidelines. Schools have figured out how to open under these guidelines. It's time that we figure out how we let the people back into this building. Now, I'm not necessarily saying that we have the whole session in this building, but the people of the state of Maine who pay the taxes, who pay for this building, it's time they get to allowed to come back here. And I really hope that over the next couple of weeks, that we figure out a policy that works, that meets all the guidelines that we're supposed to meet, but allows people to come back in here. I mean, people are going out to eat. Restaurants are moving back up to 15, 75% capacity. There's all these things happening in the positive, except at the State of Maine State House. That's the only place that's not making any progress. And I think it's time that we make some progress here, ladies and gentlemen. And I hope you join me in supporting this. I believe each and every one of you want the same thing as I want. They want this pandemic to be over. We want to move on. There's nobody on this Zoom meeting that hates a mask more than I do, but I wear it faithfully. And I try to be a good steward with it because I try to be respectful. And I think that when you allow the majority of the people in the state of Maine to do the same, they will treat the state capitol in their building the same way as all of us sitting in this meeting treat this building. And I really hope we get the people and the kids. And, you know, I'd love to bring my grandchildren back in. There's nothing more than bringing your grandchildren in or your nieces and nephews in to tour this building and tell them about your experience in the legislature and what's happening. Or even some school children that you're friends with, or some day thing. You know, we have to find a way to do this, ladies and gentlemen. So please join me in finding a solution. Thank you. I've said my piece, and next time I will make a motion to open it up, so be ready.
Thank you, Senator Timberlake. Is there any further remarks or announcements? Seeing none, is there a motion to adjourn? So moved by Representative Talbot Ross, seconded by Senator Vitelli. Ms. Gresser, please call the roll.
Senator Pouliot,
Yes.
Senator Timberlake,
Yes.
Senator Daughtry,
Yes.
Senator Vitelli,
Yes.
Representative Stetkis,
Yes.
Representative Dillingham,
Yes.
Representative Talbot Ross,
Yes.
Representative Dunphy,
Yes.
Mr. President,
Yes.
and Mr. Speaker.
Yes. Thanks.
It's unanimous.
Motion to adjourn is unanimous. Thanks, everyone. Appreciate it. See you later.